not afraid of you. I'm not
What up,
afraid of
virtual
anything.
people? Welcome to episode 91 of VCR Redux, where we take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2023. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, the third leg of our VCR tripod himself. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Mac Daddy Mickey Torres is back on the show.
Mickey!
What's up, everyone?
And he's the newest member of Fandom Spotlite's writing team and reigning champion of New Jersey HorrorCon Trivia Night. Martin Maruri is back on the show.
Yay!
Hey, happy to be back.
Thank you so much for coming back, my man. We are here today to destroy Dodge Rams, make cows fly, and to go to the extreme. That's right, folks. This world needs Twister 2 television, and we are here to give it to you. But before we can go full F5, we need to talk about how Twister came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that includes everyone watching in the live chat as well. So Love It First Laserdisc, Vital VHS, hit us up in the chat and let us know how Twister came into your lives. So, Martin, do you remember the first time you watched the Jan de Bont masterpiece that is Twister?
Yes, I always watched bits and pieces growing up of Twister, but I actually hadn't seen it all the way through up until just 2 years ago.
Get the fuck out of here. I can't believe you're like one of the most cinephile people I know, and you missed Twister?
Yeah, so during the pandemic, we would go to the drive-in a lot because they would just show older movies because nothing new was coming out. So they were showing Twister, and I got to see it from beginning to end at the drive-in.
That's awesome.
It was awesome considering.
That's sweet.
Yeah, when the drive-in part of the movie popped up, it was really awesome.
Nice.
Oh,
And
damn.
there's actually an urban legend about this movie that it destroyed a drive-in that was playing Twister at the time. And
Really?
It's not entirely true. It did destroy a drive-in, but it was only scheduled to play Twister like that day. It wasn't like while it was playing it or something like that. It was just like supposed to be playing it that day. But it's still pretty fucking insane.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I like disaster movies, whether they're really good or not. I just think they're fun.
The 90s had plenty to offer. It was like the 70s all over again. It just like came back.
What
I
does
think
that
mostly
even
because
mean?
of Independence Day. But
The 90s
Twister
were
for
the
sure.
70s all over again.
In that sense of like disaster movies all of a sudden became the thing. Think of it, you had Volcano, Dante's Peak, Armageddon, Deep Impact, Twister, Independence Day.
Yeah,
like, dude, there was a fucking ton of them. Even Daylight tried to be one of those movies with Stallone. Like, it tried to be a
that's a
disaster
good movie. That's a good movie. I do. You know, my favorite part. I do remember that Dante's Peak and Volcano were were trying to battle each other at the box office like the same day or something like
just
that.
like Deep Impact and Armageddon.
Yeah,
same
yeah.
summer.
It was the twin. I call them twinsers. You know.
Yeah,
there's
like
always
White House
twinsers.
is down and Olympus is fallen or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
fucking Shit. This was kind of back in that day, but Twister had no counterpart because Twister was like one of those movies that was around for a long time, and it took like a CG demo reel to like get the movie green lit because like studios were like, you can't do it. You know, it's like, how are you gonna do tornadoes? No one believed it could be done with like enough detail until the demo, like the trailer, the fake trailer, I think, type of demo that like sort of got it made. And one of those shots is in the actual trailer. I think it's like a tire flying at the screen or something like that. Or a truck. I can't remember what it was. I was reading about it earlier. But anyway, how did I want to know how Mac Daddy Mickey Torres discovered this movie? I'm imagining you on a McDate back in the day. And there's two. It's you. Is this an HBO or how did you?
This is HBO. Like I
Yeah?
for some reason, like, disaster movies aren't exactly movies that I'm a go-to, like, thing. I
Okay.
have seen a lot of them, but anytime I've seen them, they've been like HBO or whatever the case may be. So I saw this on HBO and I loved the movie. But fun fact, so I went and rewatched it today, just to see if it holds up, this and that, and it's still a great movie.
Oh yeah.
And Helen Hunt, Jamie Gertz,
Oh yeah, forget about it. Jamie
Good
Gertz.
stuff.
Jamie Gertz,
Good
that's
stuff.
right. She was Bill Paxton's girlfriend in the movie,
That's
right?
the most
Yeah.
Beyonce.
unbelievable part of this movie is that, like, no disrespect to Helen Hunt, but that like anyone would leave Jamie Gertz. That
Hey,
like
yeah.
that
yeah.
like they have to like try and make her kind of unlikable. You
Yeah.
know, they don't really do much to sell that to me.
There was
because I
so
love Jamie
many.
Gertz.
There was so many different like cameos and everything else like that.
Oh yeah,
But-
Carrie Elway, Alan Ruck, Sean
Philip
Whalen,
Seymour.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, yeah, a
You
lot of
know.
people. Now, also, but like it's fun fact. So when I went to go try to watch this, and it's been a while, but for some reason I don't know, like I don't know why I got duped. Like, so I'm sitting there. There's another movie called Twister that happens to star Dermot Mulroney, Crispin Glover is in it.
What?
Yeah, it's weird. And like I literally so when you go Google Twister, and I'll tell everybody so they don't make this mistake. When in the watch options, it tells you that Tubi has this for free.
Yes.
So you go
Don't
click
watch
on,
that one.
you click
no,
on
that's
that.
probably the better version of this movie.
That's
Oh,
the
you're
one
gonna be
with
the-
Crispin Glover. And I don't
Well-
I only got as far, I think I got like maybe 10, 15 minutes in, and I'm like, I know it's been a while since I've seen this movie, but I'm pretty sure Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton are in here. And I'm not seeing either of those two.
What year is that from? What decade is that from?
It's from the 90s as well.
Oh wow. Well,
And
now
it's called Twister, and the cover has like they're on a couch and they're in the air. So maybe like now I got to go back and watch this movie because I'm like intrigued about
this
what
seems amazing.
I'm like, what is going on? Crispin Glover is so freaking weird in this movie.
And Chris, shut up. Don't act like you won't watch a Crispin Glover movie. Don't
I
sit
know,
there
I
in that
absolutely need to
chair
see it.
and act like
Crispin-
you won't see that.
Crispin Glover
No,
is
I'll
on
watch it.
River's Edge mode. Like he is that
Ooh,
weird.
Spicy.
Like in the
So it's a Tuesday. Like, come on.
yeah,
Don't-
exactly.
Don't specifically put Crispin Glover at a movie era.
All I'm
that-
saying is call me
This
when
is
Dennis
weird.
Hopper is in fucking River's Edge mode. I think that is
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper's fucking best role. That is
Yeah.
so good. He is
What
out of his
country do I
mind.
live in, you communist? Like anything with Dennis Hopper is great, sir.
Oh,
Of
rebel without a
course, I mean
cause.
he's the man's. First of all, don't even try and fart around and come in here with that attitude. All right, I'm a man who loves the hot spot. All right, I love movies that he directed and did not star in. I think
I had the VHS of Backtrack. Don't start with me, Chris.
All
right.
right. Well, I'm sure you can't wait
Start
to
with
fart
me.
all over Twister. So let's hear it. What do you got? How did you're close
I
enough
don't
in
have
age
to-
to
I don't
me.
have to- I don't
You
have to-
probably saw this in theaters. I don't know.
I don't have to fart on it. It's just it is what it is. Like it's Twister. No, no, I like Twister. But if I remember right, I'll be honest, the first thing that I came to Twister on was an HBO first look. And I think this is something we've never mentioned on this show. But way back when was HBO first look when they had the preview for the movie.
That's when I
remember-
might have seen it. I might have seen
Y'all
that.
remember?
Okay,
Yeah, see, that's
okay,
I
yeah.
remember watching First Look. So it was the
Oh, dude, I loved First Look back in the day.
I mean, pre-DVD behind the scene features.
And
It
then
was-
some, depending on what studio you had, would be like maybe the Showtime First Look would come on, or maybe on the DVD, or like maybe it would be the HBO First Look if you had like a Warner's
Yeah,
DVD.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
funny how that like would happen sometimes.
so I mean,
It's like every movie has one of these, but like most DVDs didn't include them back in the day.
but it was amazing. I mean, like that was as a filmmaker, I used to watch. Wanting to be a film director, of course, that was like I would watch all of those because that's the only time you got to see how a movie got made. It was incredible.
Yeah.
But so I don't remember if it was on HBO I first saw it then, or if we went to go see it in the theater. I do believe there was a what year was this?
96.
96.
96. There was a second run theater in Sioux City, Iowa. And if I remember right, we went to the second run theater. So this is like 2 months after the movie was in theaters to begin with, it would come to this theater, and so it was like,
Probably like $1, and you got
it was like
popcorn.
$3 and something like that. So I remember going to see Twister at that theater. I believe, but I know
there used to be one of those theaters in my town. It was amazing.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
know
we
saw.
had one too.
I do know I saw it with my family. I know we all must have gone to it because I remember my dad laughing when the machine or the whatever that thing is, that satellite dish part or whatever it is that kills Carrie Elways. I remember my dad laughing.
That was
Don't
a funny part, right?
I mean, it kind of just how it happens, because it's just like, ah.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Apparently, the movie was shot to be an R-rated film, and then was later edited down to PG-13. So a lot of Carrie Elway's stuff got deleted because I guess his death was like very gory, and a lot of Philip Seymour Hoffman lines got trimmed down and stuff.
More of like a blockbuster or something, right? Like they wanted more people in the seats.
Yeah, I think this was just the beginning of that time of that. Like if it was 10 years earlier, they would have never blinked at an R-rated. You look at like all the top grossing movies of the 80s, they're like almost all R-rated films. It's pretty remarkable. But at any rate, I'll get to my first time watching Twister in a sec. I do want to see what's going on in the live chat first, though. I see Monica Thyman in there, Oscar Toronzo, Stephen Pattinson. Let's see, Alex Bonafonte is in there as well. This is a board game episode. Never played Twister or Naked Twister. Chubbies don't get invited to the good parties or any. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Right on. Appreciate you keeping it light and funny, Alex. Says the 90s were different. Surge, Chicken Selects, Van Halen on again, off again. Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulroney, he asks. I love that paradigm. They're like the human being equivalent of Deep Impact and Armageddon.
At
I think it was Dylan.
Bill
It was
Pullman thing.
At VCR Redux, we acknowledge Van Hagar. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I love Van Hagar. I'm not gonna lie. There's no Van Halen, but
that soundtrack was fire.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see. Kyle 2.0 says, "No much we can do about it right now, but in the future we should check into why Martin's microphone keeps making static robotic noises." Alex 105 says, Crispin Glover should be in a Nosferatu reboot as the titular character. We all love the hotspot for the exact same reason. Jennifer Connelly is that Ian is right. Twister blows, no pun intended. I would disagree. I would say this movie sucks, but it sucks in the best way possible.
It's
Chris would be in
Dylan McDermott. Dylan McDermott is in that other movie with Crispin Glover.
Well, I think it's interesting, and I don't think I ever really thought about this until now. But in 1996, there was one thing the culture got extremely right. The two biggest box office stars were Bill Paxton and Bill Pullman. This was like both of their times.
Right.
Bill Pullman had Independence Day. Bill Paxton had Twister. And I think is undeniably the high watermark of both of their careers.
I gotta ask though, do you guys like Bill Paxton when he's the main guy, or do you like Bill Paxton in the background? I gotta be honest, I like Bill Paxton, the supporting actor.
I mean, he has more meat on the bone on his supporting acting roles, but I love him as a leading man in this. I thought he was great in this.
I think Bill Paxton is very underrated in the sense that he's much more well-rounded. I think he's like Prince. Like Prince can play like 36 instruments. I think that's Bill Paxton. I think he can play any degree.
I thought you were gonna say Prince could play 36 roles in a movie. I'm like, Prince can play Prince, and that's about it.
I think he's good in Mighty Joe Young.
Oh my God! No way, not Mighty Joe Young.
Oh man, Mighty Joe Young. That had to come out, didn't it? If we're gonna talk about the great Bill Paxton, we gotta include it all.
But near dark, he's he's great supporting, and Aliens obviously. But
could you say
True Lies? He was always great as second.
An argument could be made that he was supporting Helen Hunt, but she was the main.
Hollywood tried to make me want Helen Hunt, and I'm sorry, it didn't work for her. I don't know why. We got to talk about this. Why didn't Helen Hunt take off the way we wanted her to?
Well, because she then went from movies to Mad About You.
She won a fucking Oscar the year.
I know,
after
but then
this
it was just.
movie.
But then
That's
it was
why. It's
Where has
the
she
F.
been in
Murray.
20 years?
Teach. It's F. Murray Abraham syndrome. You know
I
about
know.
this.
I
Yeah.
know.
You win the Oscar and it's all over. Look at fucking like, I mean, I hate to say it, one of my favorite actresses ever, Sandra Bullock. When she won the Oscar, like it started to kind of ramp down for her a little bit. Like I know she still does like big stuff. I'm not trying to like throw any shade.
Nah, you're right.
But you know, it just seems like once you've done that, you've crossed that mountaintop. It's like, what else is there left for you to do?
You're
She
a
won-
terrible
what-
town, Hollywood. We
What
don't
did
like
she?
you.
What did she win it for?
The blind side.
Blind.
Good
No,
as-
no,
as
no,
good
no.
as it
Helen
gets.
Hunt.
As good
Helen
as it
Hunt
gets.
is
Oh,
as
Helen
good as
Hunt
it
won for
gets,
as good as it
right?
gets. Yeah.
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 That was a great movie. That was a great movie.
Fantastic
Oh
movie.
my God, amazing movie. A
But
perfect
like,
fucking
I think
movie.
like Helen Hunt just became a bigger TV star.
She was already a TV star when they made this.
Yeah, but I just always see her more as a TV star. Like even
I
like
don't know. I think, I think it's the F. Murray Abraham thing. You win the Oscar, and then it's like, okay, you do another drama. It's just another drama with Oscar winner Helen Hunt. It's just another.
Yeah.
Only like Meryl Streep gets to do like 57 of those, and
I
it's
mean,
a
you
big
have
deal
Although-
every time.
Although, and I'll redeem
Like pay
my-
it forward. With Kevin Spacey and Haley Joel Osment and Helen Hunt had all the ingredients of like an Oscar-winning drama. And I think it just sort of came and went, and there was probably just more of those than you think. There was What Women Want with Mel Gibson, which I loved. Which I think
that
was an underrated film.
I'll tell you who
Uh,
did.
That
I'll tell
wasn't
you,
too good.
I'll
That
tell you
Probably
who
wasn't huge for her, but
I'll tell you
No.
who beat the Oscar. There's two people that beat the Oscar curse. One, I'll make up for from last week. Linda Hunt. That woman put 100% in everything she did, and I loved it every single movie, including
If looks could
It
kill.
Looks Could Kill.
you
Mhm.
god fucking a mother goddamn
Ah,
right. Shit.
God, what a wet turd with sprinkles of sparkles in it. And
That
that's
you
Linda
just
Hunt.
admitted to liking.
But it's also Joe Pesci. That man took that Oscar and said, and went on to My Cousin Vinny and Home Alone
Hey.
2 and all these other great movies.
Let's not forget Tom Hanks too.
Well, see, but I'm talking about supporting actor.
Ah.
Supporting actor never has the curse. It's only actor and actress that seem to have the
What about Cuba Gooding Jr.?
No,
He went on to have a good career after that,
not really.
except for Boat Trip. That was-
I was about to say, do you think
Snow Dogs?
Snow Dogs, Boat Trip, like
He was in Pearl Harbor, he was in
He's in Men of Honor. He was in a few good ones.
he killed in the OJ series. I gotta give credit to the people for OJ Simpson. He was fucking amazing in that. He was fantastic.
he killed in the OJ
did he?
series.
Well, I guess yeah. I should have chosen my words more carefully.
I love this guy. I love
Yeah.
him. We're gonna keep this guy. I like it.
He rode like a bronco in the OJ series. Like, what am I gonna say?
You said too much. Not gonna.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so it's taking me a long time to get there, but my first time watching Twister was sadly not in the movie theaters. I was stuck playing fucking baseball, even though I was the worst baseball player on fucking planet Earth. They called me the strikeout king, even though I was not a pitcher. But it was remarkable that I wasn't hated by everyone on the team. But anyways, I got to hear all the other kids on the team talking about Twister. Oh, it's fucking great. They take this Dodge Ram and they destroy it and they blah, blah, blah. It kind of spoiled the movie a little bit. But then I somehow finally watched it on VHS. I remember this. It was, I think I was in 7th grade by the time it came out on tape, like the next fall or whatever. And I just come back from a paintball tournament where I just got shot to shit. Like, I feel like I was the only guy there who didn't have like an automatic paintball gun. It was just all welted and sore. And I sat down and I watched Twister and I was like, all right, well, I feel a lot better now because this movie's great. Absolutely loved it. Instantly I was drawn to the Philip Seymour Hoffman character just because it was like so stupid that I absolutely loved it. And I'm sure he knew that when he was doing it. He's fucking great. I mean, this movie's just great. It has no business being this great, but it is.
This is great.
It's a fun watch.
Yeah.
I do agree with
It
you.
really is.
It doesn't have any right to be as good as it actually turned out. This should have been just an epic bomb that nobody went to the theater to see, and it worked. But I do
have
think
heavy hitters behind it.
you
too.
do. And as I was just gonna say, I think the
Spielberg,
best part of this movie,
Hamlin.
I think, is the supporting cast. I mean, you got Philip Seymour Hoffman, one of his first roles. You got Alan Rickman, not Alan.
Don't forget about Son of a Woman there.
Alan Ruckman. Alan Ruck.
Alan Ruck.
Alan Ruck.
Is it
Just
Ruckman?
Ruck. Just Ruck.
Ruck.
Just Ruck.
Anyway, you got non-Alan Rickman in this role. You got whatever, Ferris Bueller's friend. Knock it off. You got
Cameron Fry.
What is his name? He's in Police Academy. He's in Police Academy 1 and 3 and Police Academy 4. He's a blonde. Daggone it, what's his name? I just remember he gets the slice, like his head gets sliced by film cans in the movie.
That's the guy from Police Academy?
That's him in Police Academy. You know, Mahoney. I'm gonna slam this in your face.
Yeah, he was one of the spy.
He had a beard in this movie and
the
glasses.
Kiss ass.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever spotted that. I don't think I've ever made that recognition.
I didn't see that for sure.
Have you spotted Jake Busey? Because when I was watching the credits, it said that Jake Busey was in this movie.
What?
Really? Oh, he must be in Jonas's van somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too. Because
Anthony Rapp was in it too, and I'm like, where is he at?
Is he?
Yeah, apparently.
Jack Nicholson's in this.
All right, now we're just being ridiculous. Fucking the scene with Rick James is my favorite, though. I gotta say.
I also didn't realize that it was written by Michael Crichton.
Oh yeah,
yes,
well that's
yeah. So
he was, I think he got $2 million for this, which was at the time the most anyone had ever been paid for a script. Which obviously you're coming off of Jurassic Park, it makes fucking plenty of sense.
It does. This would have been a terrible. This would have been a terrible Crichton book, though, if he had written it as a book. Have you guys ever read
the other
Michael
big
Crichton?
90s Crichton movie? That was not Lawnmower Man.
All of them. Jurassic Park, Disclosure, Rising Sun.
Disclosure was Michael Crichton?
Yeah.
There's another big budget though.
Congo?
Sphere.
Congo, right?
Well, yeah, Congo.
Oh
my gosh, one of the greatest movies.
I love Congo.
Time.
It's such a fucking piece of shit.
Why are we talking about Congo?
And then
we'll do Congo at some point. I promise.
We got to do Congo, but we have to do Anaconda too for some reason.
Oh God, no! I draw the fucking line there.
The CGI in that one. Oof.
That's just a crime. That's the biggest waste of Eric Stoltz I've ever seen.
But you had J-Lo.
Just horrible. And you know what? The worst waste of Ice Cube I may have ever seen too.
There's no worst case. You got to use Ice Cube in whatever, and he's good in whatever he does. It could be bad, whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Anaconda.
Hey,
you just waste.
Anaconda is the best Anaconda movie there is, and you know it.
Have you seen any of the sequels?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
my Lord.
One was enough.
But can't do that just because I can't watch those sequels. That just sounds like so painful, like so epically painful that I'm almost forgetting what we're talking about. We're talking about fucking Twister, a great movie. So
you saw it on VHS. Folks. I remember
I was bummed because I really wanted to. This is obviously would have been incredible to watch in theaters.
It was good in theaters with the sounds and everything. Especially, the opening. I do remember that opening scene with, being because I was from, we're from Iowa. I mean, tornadoes are a thing in Iowa. So
they're a thing in Illinois too.
And it was filmed in Iowa, so a few parts of it was filmed. A couple of
it was, yeah.
And so we all went. A lot of people in Iowa went to go see it in the theater, and I just remember that opening scene where her dad gets, unfortunately, pulled into the twister, and it's. But I remember sitting in the theater, oh my gosh, the sound is amazing. You get the 5.1, just surround sound with That was the first time I really noticed sound in a movie, was in Twister.
And it's interesting you should mention that because this movie was infamous for blowing subwoofers in movie theaters. Because it had a louder and heavier bass mix than any film had ever had before. So apparently fucking cost movie theaters a lot of money to replace their subwoofers.
I thought it was the man with no face that did that. Yeah.
The man with no face. You mean the man without a face? Is that what you're talking about?
That's what I
With
said.
Mel Gibson, the man with no face. That sounds like a weird like the man who wasn't there. Or the man
Wait,
who
what
laughs,
did I
or,
say
like,
that? Whatever. The point is, you knew what I was talking about.
It was an episode of Captain Planet.
Yeah, must have been. Yeah, must have been one of those early Captain Planets.
Whatever.
Jesus Christ.
But like,
But,
I thought that that this movie, like in general, like you said, we talked about it had no reason being this good, but I think it was like a good popcorn movie. It's a movie that you can throw on and you watch it from start to finish. You just watch it from start to finish. You don't like sit there and go like, you bail out after 10 minutes. You're like, I'm good. No,
it's
excellent.
Right.
However,
excellent.
However, I do bail out at the last 5 minutes of this movie.
The last 5 minutes. Why would you bail out the last 5 minutes?
First off,
he's gonna get all snooty here.
First off, you are not going to survive going through a tornado and then be looking in the middle of the tornado. We all know that ending was ridiculous.
Well, I mean, they're 30-year-old pipes. They're pretty strong. They're on the ground. They were strapped in pretty tight. Never know.
No.
I think with these disaster movies, it's just supposed to,
Have you ever tried to pull out a 30-year-old pipe that runs fucking 20 feet deep into the ground?
I hate you, Mickey.
Or when I was your age, I had done that at least 37 fucking times in my life. God damn it.
I never bought the ending. Even when I was a kid, I was like, you can't, that's not, no. Like,
you know what though? Most fucking Hollywood movies, I don't really buy the ending. So I
mean,
never really deducted too many points for that. Because it's literally a movie about people trying to like shove sensors into a tornado to find out what happens, and you totally buy that bullshit, which is like, oh my god, it goes round and round. Who the fuck would have known? Like,
just the fact that they got out of the tornado in the first place, like they got to that point. I mean, all the bullshit that you saw before that, you're like, oh my god, they're so dead. It's like in real life they would have been gone already. But you know what? It's like you're watching this movie and you don't, it's just like you go along for the ride.
Yeah, it's a fun time. You're not really thinking about it too much, and the characters, they help too because a lot of them are really likable. Like Jamie Gertz's character, when I was watching the movie, when I saw it at the drive-in, I was like, oh, this is gonna be your typical like, jealousy type thing or whatever. But it's really not. She's not unlikable. She's not this like, oh, there's a love.
Do we just lose Martin's sound?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can't hear you at the moment, Martin. I think your microphone came unplugged. Sounds like you came back in. You there, bud?
Yeah, can you hear me?
There we go.
I can hear you. There he is.
No, I was saying that Jamie Gertz's character, I like Jamie Gertz's character. I like that she's just along for the ride, and I thought she was gonna be like almost like not a villain, but just unlikable and be like full of jealousy and stuff like that. But then she just was like, no, I see what's going on here. It's okay. Bye.
Yeah.
And it's like there's nobody
she
really
is a therapist
in this movie.
She is a therapist, so she's learned how to deal with a lot of shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one part of the movie that just never really held water for me. It was just kind of very MacGuffin-y. She's just there to be like the other woman, and then it's all right, now get out of here. Like, third act is coming. Like,
she's there to be the victim, unfortunately. Yeah.
They give, I guess, some kind of like some kind of tension between Helen Hunt and Paxton, like their relationship. It's like, to get Helen Hunt to finally,
there'd be an obstacle. Yeah.
To get her to kind of get a little jealous, but at the same token, it's like you just see from step one that Helen Hunt is like, I'm not jealous, and I'm gonna get him back, or he's back, so whatever. So it is what it is. And it wasn't until the speech with Aunt Meg that was basically like the eye opener for her.
She had some scenes with Philip Seymour Hoffman though. Philip Seymour
I
Hoffman.
do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, those were good. Yeah, those were
But
hilarious.
let's be
scenes.
real. Put yourself in those shoes too. Like you just, like you're on this. You have to. You go to this tornado site or whatever like that, basically, with your new, fiance or whatever like that, to try to get them to sign divorce papers or whatever the case may be, so you guys can get married. And then you go along for these tornado watches, and like you're in like tornadoes and everything else like that. By like the third tornado, like you're pretty much like, fuck this dude, fuck this chick, and fuck these people. I am out. I'm like, I don't care. There's no more love, because right now
There's no more love.
I'm fearing for my life. So I'm like, I'm getting myself out of this. If these two want to keep each other going, or they want to stay in a relationship together, go ahead. My ass is going to be safe in some posh hotel, far
It
away
takes you
from
three
here.
I love that you really are romantic, because it takes you 3 tornadoes to get there. It
I
only
mean, you
fucking
can get
takes
me to
me
sit-
one. It takes
I
me
mean,
like
like-
half a tornado, and I'm like, all right, this isn't
I mean,
working
I would have
out.
never,
Like,
I would have never went on the tornado. Let's be
No.
real. I would have never went on the whole. I would have been like, all right, you go get them papers signed, whatever like that. I'll be back
Yeah.
at home, whatever like that.
I wouldn't even
Movies-
have gone just to get the fucking papers signed. I've been like, you take care of that shit. That's awkward. I don't want to be around for that.
My movie role would have been a cameo. It would have been it would have been like, like, all right, you go do you. I'm gonna head out of here. Yeah, there is really no rhyme or
You go
reason
be
why.
you, boo.
There
I
really
would
is
have
no
like
rhyme or reason
FedEx
for her to
those
be
fucking
there.
papers to her, and then let's go to wine country for the weekend instead.
Yeah, there is
Um,
really no reason for her to be there. Like they didn't say that they were on their way to get married. They didn't like that would have been a reason maybe. They didn't say like they happened to be coming, passing through town or whatever it case may be. So
It's
you had like
MacGuffin.
it just is what it is. But you know what?
And
I-
Jamie
I-
Gertz deserves better. But I will say, it's an amazing, amazing, amazing time capsule movie. Like you look at this movie and you really see 1996.
For real,
And like
it was this
there
film.
was this brief window of time where like CG was still doing these new things, and that like the twisters and all that was like this but there's a lot of practical effects in the movie too, and it is this big budget, practical movie as well. And that's sort of, the last of that, it's sort of changed now where it's just like sort of everything's digital. It's all green screen. It's all sound stages or volumes or whatever. But this was a little bit of that old school Hollywood. And, you just see the window of time where like Helen Hunt was emerging as a film actress, and Bill Paxton, again, at the apex of his career. Philip Seymour Hoffman, was like kind of coming out of nowhere in this movie.
Jake Busey.
Carrie Elway was on his 90s
Yeah.
run. Yeah.
Jake Busey wasn't even found on the movie.
But Carrie Elway was like coming off of like The Crush and shit like that, so he was still very
Oh,
relevant
yeah.
and very in the public eye.
The
Princess
Crush.
Bride was still
The
on TV
Crush.
all the
There
time.
are 1,000 different movie things on YouTube. I am going to tell you right now, VCR Redux is the only one talking about The Crush from
Well,
93.
I'm
baby.
just gonna
I
say,
love this is what we live for, people.
The Crush.
since
was
we're
a
going out
great
live,
movie.
I'm gonna
That was a
throw out a
good
challenge.
movie.
I'm gonna throw out a challenge to my man over at Staunch TV. We need to talk about The Crush. I feel like that's the place to do it.
Oh
The
my
ultimate 90s
gosh.
comfort channel, Staunch TV.
Yes.
If you don't know, you better ask somebody, because it is just the best
Not
place.
since
on the
Blood
tube.
Fist 3 Forced to Fight have we had a movie that made the 90s better.
Oh well, fucking Kickboxer 3, The Art of War. I mean, that's right there with Blood Fist 4,
had-
unquestionably.
You had me at hello,
Um,
sir.
But at any rate, we're here today, right, to do the fucking impossible, and that is to bring back a movie with a leading man who is no longer with us. The great Bill Paxton has left us, and that is obviously the biggest
R.I.P.
challenge in doing another one of these movies. If he was alive and well, I don't care
Oh,
if he was like the
100%.
fucking crypt keeper, like he would be the
yeah.
lead in this movie again.
If Bill
No
Paxton
doubt
was
about
alive today, we would be giving him Oscars. That's all.
Yeah.
Hollywood finally realized what an amazing man this was.
It would be great to see Helen Hunt again too, but
It would
like I mean, I'll start this off by saying like I don't really need a sequel to Twister. I mean, I think Twister is like one of those movies, is disaster movies after disaster movies. It would be awesome if you just made this like meta disaster movie where you just lumped them all together. Like I got day after tomorrow with a Twister or whatever case may be.
Well, here's the other thing.
I did get a sequel. It's called Sharknado.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
pretty
that's the
much,
thing.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, we live in this Sharknado world now where it's like, first of all, a Twister was a fucking spectacle to see. You couldn't believe you were seeing it in 1996. It was like, holy shit. This
Well, I
looks like
never
they're
really
out there
realized
filming
it.
a fucking tornado. That's like how good it
Yeah.
looked for the time.
Yeah.
Now, like, you can do that on an iPhone and it's just
Yeah.
quaint and no one cares. It's not going to wow the audience anymore.
And
Unless
you've probably
there's, like,
seen it on YouTube.
Sharks with chainsaws coming out of it.
I feel like Sharknado kind of probably ruined it too, because I feel like a lot of people aren't gonna, you know, necessarily want to run to see a tornado type film if it's not on sci-fi.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
there's that, you know, they've reduced what this is, you know. It's like sort of like any dinosaur movie that's not Jurassic Park is like, you know what I mean? It's going on like Discovery or some weird, channel that no one watches, like no one cares about those.
And then
movies.
you've gotten like reality shows or whatever like that called, Storm Chasers or whatever the case may be. Like that's like something that I could see this being. If you were to revive this back, it could be like you could have a team of tornado followers and this and that. I mean, you have some meat on the bone there. You could bring this back, and basically Helen Hunt is leading a new team, and they've gotten the research from this F5. And now they're, trying to really figure out how to anticipate these things and how much time. So you could delve into that world. I mean, obviously you don't have Bill Paxton, so you would have to like mention something about him not being there. Maybe they went out on one like that. I can only think that his character, the only way to go out would be he got sucked up in a tornado.
Blaze of Glory.
Yeah.
Well, he did, and he survived somehow.
I feel like there needs to be an angle, because, like Chris was saying, we saw, when Twister came out, people saw like, oh, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. But now, just to do another movie like today, if you were to do it, and it's just the same type of thing, like you need like them to get sucked up into a Twister and end up in like the medieval times or something. Like you can't just do like. I just feel like
not Army of Darkness Twister style.
No.
I love
an
this.
angle. You just need something.
Yeah, he's right though. You need like a bold hook. You need a bold new take without going to like jump the shark, which is no pun intended, with the Sharknado thing. But it's a fine ass line, right? Like it's paper thin, the line. Like if you put the tornado, like part of me would think, okay, you have to put the tornadoes in a new place, but you can't just it's in the city now.
How about
Hawaiian
this?
style? It's like whatever. That's fucking lame.
How about this? We've seen them. They're going, from the ground to try to, get that research and suck, get Dorothy sucked up and their sensors sucked up into a tornado, so it goes in the tornado. But what if they try to, now they said like, oh, well, our research is from the ground up. Why don't we try to go from the sky down? So now the whole thing is like you got them on helicopters and shit like that, trying to get right into the
you get this Top Gun mixed with Twister.
Yeah, the top of the
That's
tornado.
not bad. That's not bad, actually.
Twister Leviathan style. I love this.
Instead of being underwater, you're in the sky.
Or maybe
like
they
that.
developed. Maybe
That's not
Helen
half
Hunt
bad.
has like her team developed an actual like, not spaceship, but some kind of form of transportation or some kind of whatever that will allow them to actually get sucked in and be in that thing. And it's
Okay. Here's something.
And then it turns into Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Well, no. Here's something.
Every movie should turn into Event Horizon.
I want to prompt everyone in the chat. This is the time for pitches, and I will get caught up on the chat in a sec here. But if you have a pitch, please hit us with your pitch in the live chat, or just things that you would want to see, or you're glad they never did. Anything related to a sequel that you want to talk about, hit us up in the chat. But I will say, so in the first movie, they're trying to measure a tornado by essentially shoving Dorothy up the butt of the tornado, and the sensors fly around, all this stuff, right? So we got to assume that data was really useful to them, and that now they've developed a thing that could maybe even stop the tornadoes, right? They gotta drop it in from above, and it creates a counter current, or like a counter
True.
because
Yep.
tornadoes are essentially when hot air and cold air hit each other, they mix up into this like funnel, right? So if you could break that up with temperature or with something, that could be interesting, and it all could also lead to some really exciting stuff, like maybe you have a fire NATO at some point without pushing it too far, because it goes over a gas thing and they're trying to control it with temperature and something goes wrong, or a nefarious person starts using that to control the tornadoes as opposed to making them stop. Someone's sending tornadoes in after somebody in a nefarious way. Maybe that's a little too jump the shark.
You just went into Bond territory.
There is almost a point in this movie.
I'm just saying, like, you need to, like, those are the kind of questions you need to ask yourself, though, to like set the bar right.
But
there's almost a point at this movie that on the rewatch, there's a point in this movie that I kind of like. I could have seen them do an angle where one of the team members, like, is like a spy, and for Jonas, and he, like, somewhere along the line, like, he, like, would do something so Dorothy would never fly, whatever case would be, but he would take some kind of data and he would feed it to Jonas, and Jonas would be the guy that gets the information, whatever like that. I almost felt like that could have been a plot twist there, at one point.
For sure. I could have
Alan Ruckman, man.
Rock
and roll. The point is, he would have been the spy, all right? Like, that's totally the guy right there.
No, I could have seen Jamie Gertz be the spy, or the kid that was afraid that he couldn't get out of the truck, and Helen Hunt was like, "Come on, take my hand." When the movie theater scene, it could have been him.
Was that Henry Tom? No, that looks like it's the guy. He was in Saving Private Ryan, wasn't he?
I'm not sure. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I think so.
But anyway, I do want to touch on the chat real quick. In response to before, Alex Bonafonte says Ice Cube's best movie is Trespass with Bill Paxton, the man who broke the wind.
Trespass.
Pretty
good. Trespass pretty good.
I mean, Friday is my favorite Ice Cube movie.
I'll take Trespass.
Or Boys in the Hood.
I was gonna say Boys in the Hood all the fucking way.
Yeah,
Trespass. Boys in the Hood's like one of the most important movies of the 90s, easily.
But Trespass, you get cubes and you get ice.
You do.
Tea.
You do.
Like, come on. You get cubes and tea.
It's true.
Yeah, I love how you just totally tripped over yourself trying to say you get cubes and ice. Like, I mean, tea. Cube and iced tea. I love it. I love it.
You're gonna look like that, and you're gonna talk to me about my speech patterns. Get out of here! Like, I'm done with this show.
Anyway,
I honestly
also some love in the chat for the crush. Sorry, just gonna finish up. There's a pitch as well. Alex Bonafonte says a shameless ripoff of Rubber. Only the main character is the cow that flew. The cow treks across the USA.
I want the cow.
And film paints a portrait of us all. It ends with school kids sacrificing the cow. That's dark and deep. I love it, Alex.
You went Lord of the Cows? Like,
yeah, right. Oh, Alex Bonafonte says he just got the Event Horizon 4K today. Ooh, that's a nice pickup. Alex Bonafonte, there's another pitch, Nuke-Nado by David Dennison.
What?
Nuke-Nado, I guess, the idea that some people are trying to nuke tornadoes to get them to stop, which it's actually not the worst idea I've ever heard. It's like, and we live in a world where we're stupid enough that someone would do that and have access to nukes at the same time. We didn't used to be in a world like that, but that is clearly one we're in now. It's really scary. But that may just be the way it is forever now.
This will be the last VCR Redux.
The moon, like, do we really need that thing? They'll just nuke it. Like, sorry, I think that would be a very bad idea. But yeah, no, then the tough question becomes, what do you do with Helen Hunt? Do you bring her back without Bill Paxton?
I honestly
Is that just
feel
sad?
I feel like if they were to really make this, I feel like they would do what a lot of other sequels do and have it be like their kid type thing.
Right, of course.
And how Helen Hunt was, she was so upset that a Twister killed her father and stuff like that, that they would be like they would go along that route of like now they had a kid and Bill Paxton's gone. This kid
How
is.
dare you become a storm chaser? The
And
one job I told you not to do.
I don't.
What are the
feel like,
odds? You know,
I
it's a
don't feel like
very.
they would bring Helen Hunt back as a main role.
You think she would be like an Aunt Meg character?
I do.
Yeah, they'll pull like I mean, did you see Jurassic World Dominion?
I have yet
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
the newest whatever.
You know the hardest part about that movie is as much as you wanted the old cast, you kind of were like just focus on one in a weird way. Like I mean, it was great to see them again, but it's never the same. It's just never ever the same. And so yeah, I mean she would be in the Aunt Meg role. I don't think she would be the main star. But I also think it's interesting if you know Bill Paxton is killed by a tornado and all this stuff. I mean, you're kind of going into Jaws the Revenge territory.
This time it's personal.
This time it's personal, and on the poster is a Twister with Helen Hunt in the car with the Dorothy like about to spear the darn thing.
In the first movie, it was kind of personal. If the Twister never took her dad, we wouldn't have a movie.
This is true.
I just want Twister the Revenge. I really do.
Or you could have
Twister,
her.
Twister could have become the Jaws of the 90s easily.
Sure. I'm
You know,
surprised
just
there wasn't a
endless
lot
sequels,
of direct
yeah.
to DVDs.
Oh man, just when you thought it was safe to go outside. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a great tagline.
I could see her coming back in a form of a teacher. Like basically like she's taking all this knowledge and this and that. And now she's teaching a class on, on weather, science class, whatever the case may be. That's her thing. Her new role is like she's in a university, whatever the case may be. And, another F5's coming in or whatever like that. And now she's got to protect the class from this and that, whatever the case may be.
I think she developed the thing that they're going to try and use to be able to stop tornadoes. That they can drop this stuff in from the top. And I think that you owe her that much, that she's that important to the franchise. You know what I mean?
She did help build Dorothy too.
Of course. Yeah. So it only makes sense that the information she got from Dorothy led her to develop this newest thing, which can potentially stop tornadoes dead in their tracks. And maybe they tried to use drones and all these other things, but it just won't work. They need
Do you think that
heavier
the thing
equipment
she
vehicle,
creates, you think the thing that she creates would be called Toto?
Could be, yeah. It would probably be some sort of Wizard of Oz reference to keep it cute.
Toto or the Wizard, just something like that.
The Tin Man.
The Tin Man would be good too.
The Tin Man's pretty good, yeah.
Like Tin Man.
The Lion, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot that
Apparently, we really are getting a sequel.
We are,
right? Yeah, which is
I did hear that. Yeah,
we are.
It's like
a remake or a remake.
A sequel.
But it's like it's.
Is it like a reboot or a requel?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean it's literally going to be the same story, just
like the first one never happened.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean
that's
it's
what
just.
I expect. I just expect it to be like Zac Efron and Megan Fox, running into twisters.
Right, they turn into Transformers.
Who's gonna look really good if in the wind and with it's gonna be Channing Tatum.
See, I didn't say it first. You said it first. You brought up the man's name.
Here's who it should be. It should be Robert Downey.
Of course.
God damn, I would watch it. I'd watch it.
All I want though is I want Jamie Gertz to have one cameo where she's on an iPhone and the iPhone won't work.
Jamie Gertz owns the Atlanta
She would be the
Hawks,
therapist to the new two. The new two,
that would be funny.
The new couple, she would be the therapist.
Oh, that would be fucking great, actually. Take my money for that.
They do.
Oh, your mic went out again, buddy.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, while Martin gets his microphone fixed. I don't know. What are the things that hypothetically, what are the things you're really glad they didn't do? Imagine this went direct to cable in 97, 98.
Oh, I can tell you what they did. That was stupid. There is a sequel to Twister, and it's a VHS out there. It's called Twister 2, but
what?
No. It's not an official movie. It's a kind of like a crash video, like the best of tornado videos, and but they
Oh,
bought
wow.
the title of Twister from Warner Brothers just so it could be on the video shelf
Next to
next to
Twister.
Twister. How
So
smart.
is it
You
like a
think it's-
documentary or
Kind of,
like...
yeah, kind of.
Wow.
But they had to buy the rights to the title Twister so they didn't get sued.
You're a
just to
piece
have
of
it.
shit for even promoting that on this show.
No,
I'm just
that's
calling it out.
genius. That's genius. Not since Meatballs 3 have we had such a genius approach to video marketing.
Don't disrespect Meatballs 3 with just lumping it in there to your slide declaration of new classic status tucked in amongst a safe old one.
That is genius. That transmortations, whatever that, as long as it was right next to the one you wanted, that's just pure genius.
But you've seen that happen a lot of times where like movies have gotten the same titles as other movies, but they've changed like a letter of it or whatever.
It bugs me out. I hate that there's like a million movies out there called Crossroads. There should only be one. The great Ralph Macchio, Joe Seneca, and also Jamie Gertz, mind you.
I love there's a movie out there called Robo Badged, which comes before RoboCop on the shelf. Genius.
Yeah, but you're not gonna get that on a modern day shelf now.
I know. hey, it had its time, but Twister 2 is out there. I've seen it at the Goodwills.
Wow.
So
I've seen Twister.
I guess technically you could make
popular.
a movie called Star War and put
Twister's
it on
very
just
popular
before Star Wars.
in like flea markets and stuff like that. The Twister VHS is very popular in flea markets and everything else like that.
It's like the Jerry Maguire VHS. It's like the
everybody
they made more VHS tapes of these films than there were people on the planet to buy them. And somehow it was like a good deal for them. Somehow they didn't lose money on that. So good for them.
Let's just all admit the 90s was kind of cool. We kind of had it good in the 90s. It was pretty good.
I honestly, I say this all the time. Culturally, we were lost for so long, especially in the mid 90s. You get more to like a time of being truly, truly lost. But there were these beacons of hope, and Twister was one of them. Independence Day was another. 96 was a pretty decent year. I guess it had
loved me some Independence Day. Love Independence Day.
Independence was good, and I'm one of the few people that enjoyed the sequel. I mean, it was schlock, but like I thought it was fun schlock. It definitely wasn't great, and certainly would have been better with Will Smith and all this stuff. But they wrote two versions of it: one if he said yes, and one if he said no. So of course he said no. He wanted to. Why punch aliens when you could slap Chris Rock and win Oscars for it? So,
hello.
But zing. But seriously, folks.
Take my wife, please.
So is there anything? What do you think, like villain-wise? Who could be the Cary Elway character in like a modern, Return of Twister?
So Robert Downey Jr. No.
Actually, Austin Butler, if you got like studio money, he would be great as the Cary Elway type of character. Maybe a little bit too young, but
maybe a Henry Cavill too. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, he's too hunky. He should be the lead. He's your leading man.
Yeah, true.
I like.
I believe his muscles could hold on to a fucking F6 tornado even without him being Superman.
You know who I like? I just saw him in Sonic movies. I like James Marsden. I don't know why, but I love James Marsden. I think James Marsden would be a great Cary Elway's villain.
Maybe
he would be
because he's charming. Yeah. He's charming. He's schmarmy. It works, and then all of a sudden he's good looking, and he is and what I would do is make it a little bit different. Cary Elway's was doing it as a scientist. I think you need to do it as an actual documentarian. I think it's. I'll give you that,
but then
he could also be. He could also play
Jason Marsden on the team. Who could be the Philip Seymour Hoffman role? Like, who's taking that? Who's the funny guy?
Jack Black.
Jack Black.
Like the only one you can think of right there.
Jack Black was like the same age as Philip Seymour Hoffman, though. He should have been that role back then. He was probably the runner-up choice.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, like, who is like that weird looking guy now?
That's the problem when you look to young actors of today. I hate to whatever, but the goods are there. They're just undiscovered. It's like the people that Hollywood chooses to become, to kick up the ladder, don't always have the goods.
I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of people you can get, but like these characters just.
Oh fuck! I got it. No, forget it. It's fucking Paul Walter Hauser. Unquestionably, that's your man. Boom. Paul Walter is the most brilliant actor working today. Like
Who's that guy?
man surely has Oscars in his future.
Who's
Yeah,
he?
who's
If
that
you don't
guy?
know, you better fucking Google it because he's amazing. He's in I, Tonya. He's in Cobra Kai. He's
Yes.
he's in that movie with fucking Vince Vaughn with like Neighborhood Watch or some shit like that. Every time I see this guy, he's brilliant. And I think he just won a Golden Globe this year.
Yes, Stingray.
Stingray.
What about Vince?
Right.
What about Vince Vaughn? Can we bring Vince Vaughn back?
I would love Vince Vaughn.
Can we just
He could have practically been the lead then, though. Like,
Vince,
you know, if they
Vince
did
Vaughn would
Twister
be good in
2,
anything.
if they did a big budget Twister 2 and they recast, like, it would have been Vince Vaughn.
Actually, yeah.
And he could be
They
a
did
good
Twister 2
he could
Cruise
be,
Control with Jason
He could be a
Patrick.
good villain guy too.
Vince Vaughn, yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
could be
would
a good villain.
Yeah,
guy.
he'd be a great Carrie Elways type. That's also fucking true.
Excuse me, we're gonna go get this tornado over here. I'm done talking with you.
Okay,
Get
all
this
right.
tornado.
So
Jeremy Piven. Oh,
me-
he would be great.
Jeremy
yeah.
The
Piven.
villain or the lead.
Did he
let me
just get
ask you this.
canceled?
He did get canceled.
Oh, did he? Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
well,
he
I'm
did.
sorry. I didn't know that.
That's
a shame.
Is there a way to do, because this is his new shtick? You know, Tom Cruise is a new Jackie Chan. Is there a way to do it?
I love Tom Cruise.
I do too, and I'm wondering, is like, can you get Tom Cruise near a real tornado?
He would do it.
Yeah, he would demand
it.
that the tornadoes be real. He would say, I'm not doing any of this crap the way you guys did in the 90s, faking it. I demand to fly a real helicopter into a real tornado, and it's got to be IMAX.
I mean, I don't know. There's something I do like this idea
ridiculous.
of the sky thing of that concept we were talking about being in the
go
sky
from above,
and just kind of doing stuff that way. There is something kind of cool with that because you just don't expect it. It would be a very different look, you know, and it would make the movie different than the first one.
Yeah,
enough that I think that would
worthy
be
of doing.
Yeah.
You know, a new Twister would have The Rock though.
Oh, and you can totally call that version Twisters. This time it's war because they're in like aerial assault vehicles going to war against tornadoes. And why are there so many tornadoes? Because of fucking climate change has made the weathers more extreme. So tornadoes are popping up more and more. They're devastating more and more.
But if you had The Rock
now,
if you had The Rock, it could be a sequel, not only a sequel to Twister, but it could be a sequel to San Andreas too.
Nobody saw that movie. Stop it.
I own that movie on Blu-ray. It was a good movie.
You would.
It was a good movie.
Do you own Skyscraper as well on Blu-ray?
No.
Oh man.
That's what I thought. There's always one. Dang it.
Well, I don't know about Skyscraper, but I do know that Twister it's coming whether we like it or not. I have no idea what Hollywood's going to do with it, but I think broad strokes wise, we've covered the basics of like do's and don'ts, you know, how to deal with.
Yeah, you better listen to us, Warner Brothers.
That's right.
Bags.
Hire us now while we're cheap.
This is like, it's crazy.
Chris really looks cheap.
I just don't.
It doesn't get any cheaper than this shirt right here.
This has to be a remake. I'm sorry. Like I can't see them doing a sequel.
Fuck. We just figured it out how to sequel it. Here's the thing. Remakes are not in vogue right now. Hollywood's very big on like following the trends. It's like, oh my God, red shoes are cool. We all gotta get red shoes in our next movie.
Right. You know, I mean, right now is doing the nostalgia trip mixed with the new.
Yeah.
That is the
right now, Cobra Kai. Everyone's trying to Cobra Kai.
Yeah, they would bring back Helen Hunt. They would bring back
2024. It's coming to theaters. 2024.
Yeah, which means they already have a script and a director, and you know.
So they'll listen to nothing of what we came up with tonight.
Yes, it's moot point entirely, but hey, it's fun to speculate, right? I hope I didn't miss any pitches in the chat, but so someone should build a full-scale F-14 out of Top Gun VHS tapes. Damn it. More crap I would do with Bezos money. So the chat is obviously very focused. Oh, there is a pitch in here. Let's see. Opening scene: a group of annoying Iowa or Nebraska teens are attending a crappy music festival and are killed when corn cobs rain down on them when they least expect it. Corn pops on bonfire. Scene. All right.
Only if corn is playing.
Yeah.
And there's some curiosity Kyle 2.0 was curious on my thoughts of movies that came out in 1999. Well, 99 was a good year, I gotta say. But without getting too in depth about it, it
Oh
was
my
a good year
gosh!
because
Look,
a lot of original movies.
no. Everybody just shut up about 99. We get it. There was Star Wars and there was being John Malkovich. Ooh.
It's no 89. I'll just say that 89
right.
was the fucking ultimate year. But anyway, I think it's a lot of love for Paul Walter Hauser coming in the chat now. Sometimes the chat comes in a little late. And it says Alex McFly says also cannot have a good Edge of Tomorrow sequel without Bill Paxton. So interesting.
I miss Bill Paxton.
Cruel Intentions was 99.
Isn't that 98?
Well, that just beat my theory now. Daggone it.
99.
Thanks.
It's listed as 99.
We'll have to do
Because
a
Magnolia
special.
was 99.
Oh, Magnolia is fucking brilliant. That's Tom Cruise's best work. I don't care what anyone says. Frank T.J. Mackey is amazing. The best character he's ever played.
Obviously, you've never seen Color of Money.
Wait a second.
Oh, dude,
greatest
if you would have said
movie-
Born on the 4th of July, I would have had the respect. But
No.
Color of Money, get the
greatest
fart out
movie
of
of
here.
99. She's All That.
All right. A movie. How do I make her the prom queen?
Oh man, not this beautiful ugly girl.
Also, American Pie.
Wait. Did
American
she take off her glasses? I wouldn't date her.
We got a lot of
What
things
about the
in 99.
Phantom Menace? Jar Jar stepping in poop, clearly the cinematic benchmark for 1999.
I think we got to rethink this 99 thing. There was a lot of movies.
You
that came out
saying
in
big doo doo.
There's
At any rate,
The Matrix was 99.
Before we get out of here and party like it's 1999, is there anything you guys have got coming up you want to let the people know about? Articles, recordings, where to follow you on social media, anything?
Nothing
Nothing
right now.
from me.
All right.
Just
Well,
see me when you see me.
as always, you can stay tuned to Fandom Spotlight, and I'm sure you'll see some news in the near future. At any rate, you Fandom fans might also want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we sign your pity on the Runnikind for our Pootie Tang episode.
I'm out.
That's right.
I'm out. I'm not
That's
gonna be
right.
Pootie
It's
Tang!
happening.
I'm not
Bootie's
in
done
that.
it again. Bootie's done it again.
I'm not doing that one.
The only other option, Ian, is if we do another Airborne episode. Again, Airborne. So that's all I can do.
No, I'm not doing Pootie Tang. No, leave
It's going
that.
down.
That movie is at a flea market in Newark, Delaware. Leave it there, and that's it. Just
You
don't.
heard it. You heard it here, folks. First, you heard it here first, folks. Ian will be here in
Time
Biggie
I
Shorty
pit on a
cosplay.
Runnikind.
The worst
That's
part
right.
is if we do that is I actually have to watch that movie again.
You're gonna go from Dirty D to Dirty E, and sort of Dirty I. I don't know. Anyway,
we used to do good things on the show. We used to change people's lives. Now we're just.
I don't know if we change anyone's lives, but that's cute. I like the energy there.
I like to
Anyway,
think that we've educated people on good movies.
yes, and I like to think that we've slumbered through the closing segments on this show, but this is maybe a new all-time slumbering pace for closing out and saying goodnight. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode.
Nobody's wanting Pootie Tang. I can tell you that right now.
Ring the bell.
And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight, the Hollow Knight Network, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax.
Hey, what about
rewind
Pootie
those
Tang
laserdiscs,
3?
and we'll see
Boy, that's
you
a crime
at the
against
movies.
society. Pootie Tang 4. You know, nobody's ever said that. Not a single